Facial oils play a very important role when it comes to your skin routine, and today I'm going to show you why. A facial oil is an anhydrous product. It basically contains oils, fully 100% oils, no water, no emulsion. So welcome once again to Camray Naturals Academy. Most people think facial oil are just expensive oils that are just put in this tiny 30 ml and 50 ml bottles. However, facial oils play a very important role when it comes to your skin routine, and today I'm going to show you why. So for those who don't know me, I'm Betty Mora Oko. I'm the founder and formulator for Camray Naturals and so many other brands. So I've been formulating since 2019, and I've decided to open doors for all of you. My fellow melanin minds, we learn together and we grow together. What is a facial oil? Unlike creams and lotions, a facial oil is an anhydrous product. It basically contains oils, fully 100% oils, no water, no emulsion. So similar to body oils that we had talked about before, facial oils are also they're very simple to make, I can say. However, we have different categories. So we're going to make a simple routine. So don't let the word simple fool you again. So basically, we are going to talk about what is the building block of a facial oil, like what comprises a facial oil. So if you want to make a facial oil today, unahitaji nini na nini exactly. So first and foremost, you need a carrier oil. Like you said, carrier oils make up the big block. You're the foundation of any body oils or facial oil. So you need a carrier oil, and the face is a bit sensitive and it's mostly exposed to the UV and the free radicals. So for example, like ukijiangalia mwili yako wewe mwenyewe, even today, like when you're dressing or when you're taking shower, you will find out that your face is mostly darker than the rest of the body. That is if you're not using any brightening products. Like naturally your face is a bit darker compared to your body. Like ukifungua mwili, let's say on the chest or on the back, it's a bit lighter on the thighs. Then the areas that are a bit exposed, that is your face, is mostly exposed. Iko nyeusi kiasi. That is because of the UV. So most people don't diligently use their sunscreen. And then we have the free radicals. Apart from that, then we are in Africa. So basically, we sweat a lot because of the weather conditions. And apart from that, since most of us, our working conditions also expose us to a lot of sun, a lot of dust, the environment is not that friendly. You can't compare Africa to the West. Like, even if, let's say, you work a whole day in the AC, at some point, you still have to interact with the visual environment. So, with that said, you need to really take care when you're choosing ingredients to put on your face. This is what I mean. Skin type matters. A facial oil should never be chosen just because it's trending. Like at times, you might find that there's a particular product that trends the most. Let's say like right now we have PDRNs that are trending. We have DNA equivalents that are trending. So whenever you see an oil like papaya oil, we have a lot of kojic. Like don't choose a facial oil because it's trending. Before you choose a facial oil, think about your skin type. That matters a lot. So do you have oily skin? Do you have a dry skin? Do you have combination skin? How sensitive is your skin? Those are the things that should come to your mind when you're choosing a facial oil. This is what I mean. Different oils have different absorption rates. I'll keep talking about it over and over and over again in every video. So different oils have different absorption rates. So there is a sheet that I usually work with. It's my sheet that illustrates every type of oil that I use, from camellia to almond to macadamia to soya bean. So if you are going to make your facial oil, the first thing you're going to consider, if you have an oily skin, you need an oil that absorbs very fast as your carrier oil. So if you have an oily skin, your carrier oil will be something like flaxseed, that is an antioxidant and a drying oil, kind of. Then you have rose hip, you have hemp oil, evening primrose, rice bran. Those are fast absorbing. That means that they penetrate very fast on the skin. Then we have, if you have a dry, somewhere dry to oily but not very dry, I'll advise you to go for grapeseed, argan, camellia, meadow, apricot kernel, safflower, jojoba. Those should be your type. Then we have combination skin. So if basically you have a combination skin, basically means that you need something that's fast to medium. like iko tu hapo katikati. So that will be something like, again, argan, grapeseed, camellia. Then if your skin is very sensitive, you need a very soothing product. That will be the ones that have the soothing effect. So basically almond, it has soothing and anti-inflammatory. Calendula, chamomile. Then you go all the way to apricot kernel, they are very soothing. Then you have neem. Now when it comes to neem, oils like neem, yes, they are carrier oils and they work very well. It's a bit slow absorbing. Neem has a very good properties when it comes to clearing blemishes. Like if you have pimples, if you have acne, neem is very good. However, neem has a very unique scent. Like if you're one person who doesn't like the smell of neem, it might be very hard for you to use. So that will mean you will go to what we are going to talk about next, aromaceuticals. So aromaceuticals, this is where we have our essential oils and our fragrance. However, for facial oils in particular, I'll advise you not to start using fragrance. Why? Because fragrance can make your skin very sensitive and you'll become very itchy. So I'll ask you to stick to essential oils first. So if you're using a product like neem, you'll need an essential oil that kind of boosts the scent of the product. So you'll go for lavender, for orange, for something that can basically make it smell nice, vanilla sort of thing. So if you're buying, let's say, an essential oil to use in your product, you also need to consider few things. So for essential oil, you need to consider the dermal limit of that essential oil. Like what is the recommended dermal limit that is enough to make your skin not to itch, not to become very sensitive? Because sometimes ukiweka essential oil mingi, instead of you solving the problem, you'll end up creating problems for yourself. Then the other thing is when you are choosing your essential oil, does it get affected by UV? Because if it's a phototoxic, the phototoxicity in it is very high, it means that whenever you go out, you'll become darker. So sometimes unapatanga mtu amenunua product and anakwambia, hey, beti tangu nianze kutumia this product, I bought this something, this and this, then it's making me get a little bit darker. That means that there are products in there that are highly affected by UV. So you basically need to make sure that you're very loyal to your sunscreen, or you simply just avoid the products. Two things. Then, when it comes to essential oil again, when you're making your body oils, I'll talk about the particular package that you're going to use when you employ different types of essential oils. The other thing that's very important when you're making your facial oils is the botanical extract. So today we are going to make one, even though it's a simple routine for beginner, I'll still go all the way to make it to the botanical extract. Botanical extracts are basically herbs and herbs that are dried. They're basically dried herbs and sometimes oil soluble extracts that are used. So when you are buying botanical extract and it's already in an oil soluble extract, you need to ask your supplier on the percentage usage. For instance, let's say I'm giving you an example. Let's say I'm buying from my supplier, I'm buying a rose fragrance. It's a botanical extract because it's extracted from the rose itself. And yes, it's a fragrance. However, they have made sure that it's not sensitive on the skin. So when you come here to the specifications, it will show you that it's already it's already soluble. It's mixed with sunflower seed oil and the fragrance itself. So the solubility, as you can see, it's oil soluble. The percentage usage, as you can see, it's from 0.5 to 2. That is something that you really have to put into consideration. And for someone who is starting, I'll advise you to basically start it at 0.5 as you move upwards, so that you're able to catch and know whether it's sensitive to your skin or whether it will make it worse rather than making it feel better. And when you're initially starting, I'll advise you to do a patch test, because as I said, the face is very sensitive and it's easily exposed to any free radical, and our environment doesn't make it any better. So do a patch test somewhere else, probably on your hands for like a day or two, and see how it reacts before you start using it on your face. That is something that you have to consider when getting botanical extract. Then apart from that, we have extracts that are purely herbs, like the calendula herb. We have the rosemary, those ones that are bought in container, and then they have already been dried. So when it comes to herbs, the reason why, yes, we have so many people who farm this herb. However, if someone has not been certified, probably by the health organization, I'll ask you not to use them. Reason being, if the herb contains has any contamination in it and you put it on your oil, remember your oil will still go rancid. Even if you don't require a preservative, you have to make sure that the herb is completely dry, first of all. If the herb is somehow wet, it will really affect your product, because you have to put in consideration this is pure oils. And then most of Kenyan farmers, unfortunately, they don't get certification for their herbs to know whether they can be used in formulations. However, we have organizations that have already been certified for this. So if you can get a supplier who is certified, the better. That is all up to you. Yeah, you can decide what to do with that. Then we have antioxidants. Remember, even if the product is anhydrous, it will still oxidize. So we are preventing it from oxidation. And yes, vitamin E, rosemary, rice bran, they won't stop oxidation. What they will do, they will slower the oxidation process. So unaika tu basically oil yako isiende rancid, ikae for some time. That is also one thing. Then we have the controversial silicones and esters. This is because most silicone and esters, they are synthetic. Like they are not vegan, they are not organic. Best, for instance, we have, I'll show you an example of what we have. We have the EcoSeal. EcoSeal is made from olive esters. So basically, we have very few suppliers who can have the organic EcoSeal. However, EcoSeal we have alternative. This is an alternative to silicone, and they are very expensive. So when you come to check the solubility, you can see here it is insoluble in water. Add it to your oil free. So basically, you can use it on a pure oil formulation from 1 to 25%, but it is very expensive. So you have to put that into consideration also when you're making the product. Like I said, formulation is a very expensive hobby. So if you want to commercialize it, that's a different case. But if you want to use it for yourself, yeah, you can sacrifice that bit also and get the best outside there. So you can get the EcoSeal, then you can get the Seal Dam. Those are basically organic versions that we use in our lab. However, if you want something cheaper, I believe in the market we have the Methicon, though it's not organic. Then we have, apart from the Methicon, you can still use, we have a version of the Methicon that's called Green DMI. You can also ask for it. It's something that is also used. Then we have IPM as esters. IPM, I know it's synthetic also. So if you don't mind whether it's synthetic or something is synthetic or something is organic, they still work the same. It's an occlusive. They are esters. They just hydrate the skin. So just because it's made in the lab sometimes doesn't mean it's bad, because just check whether it's FDA approved. They have all the approved from all the approved body. If they have, it's okay for you to use it. That's one thing that I also wanted to mention it. Now, with all this said, when you are making your facial oil now, when you are combining the facial oil, you need to put into consideration the percentages that we said before. So basically, that means you already have your carrier oil, you already have your antioxidant, you have your botanical extract, you have your aromaceutical in place. So it's time for us to make our facial oil. However, before we do that, I'd like to mention something. We have common mistakes that people make. Let's say if I mention the oil like sunflower oil can be found anywhere, even in the supermarket, the one that we used in our cooking each and everything. So probably you can start by looking for cold pressed cosmetic grade. That can be the first thing that I'll advise you to do. Use cosmetic grade. Reason being, when something is cosmetic grade, it still has the benefits. There's so much benefit for the skin, unlike the one that is purely refined. You'll find that the oleic levels and the linoleic levels are very high, and the range to get these benefits is very high when something is cosmetic grade. Then we have, if you're going to buy other oils, don't ignore the oxidation process, please. Sometimes you can buy all these things and then you ignore vitamin E. No, your oil will go rusty and it will not assist you in any way. So you have to put that into mind. Then the other thing, like I said, don't assume that when something is expensive, it's good. No, that's just a myth. Buy something that works for you, get the benefits, understand it, and then just purchase it. Last but not least, when you buy any products, remember the packaging. Like I said, we'll talk about the packaging. There's a clear packaging and the amber packaging. So because of our essential oil bit of it, we'll put it in the amber jar so that we avoid the UV and we avoid oxidation processes. Like for us, some of our facial oils are in the clear jars is because we make sure that all the oils used there have antioxidant properties. Hence, the oxidation process is very low. That's why we keep them comfortably in clear jars. But for a start, and because you're not sure of your supplier and everything involved in it, just put it in the amber jar so that it doesn't go rancid very fast. So with all that said, I hope you'll stick around for our formulation part of it and join us in our next video so that we combine all this knowledge together. We create a very beautiful facial oil that you are able to use at home and create one for your family, create one for your friends. So if this is the content that you really want to be getting and you want to work with us and you want to learn a bit or two about formulation, simply join the family by turning on the notification bell and subscribe. So thank you, and let's meet next time as we make our facial oil.